How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. Hope you guys had a great weekend and are ready to get back into it. I for sure am. I'm officially back from Hawaii, and quite frankly, I'm super excited to get back in the markets, back full-fledged with these YouTube videos as well. So today, we're going to break down some stocks, my thoughts on the markets, some charts, and of course, what I'm looking out for this week. We have a huge week ahead of us, so sit back, relax, go down below, get your $50 from M1 Finance. All you have to do is use my link, deposit $100, and we each get $50 to invest with. And if you want to, you can check out my Patreon if you want all my real-time moves and a bunch of other exclusive perks. All of those are linked right down below. So let's get into it, guys. And if you all were paying attention to the markets last week, SPY, which tracks the S&P 500, this hit a brand new all-time high, and we actually broke out of the previous big level of resistance, that level being at about $437 to about $438. The all-time high was hit at $440.30. So at this point in time, us being at all-time highs, we obviously don't have any resistance levels ahead of us. So this could be it might not be, but it could be a buy the breakout opportunity, meaning this could go to 445, maybe even as high as 450 in the short term, which would make it very overbought. But the bottom line is we're breaking out, and this thing could go a lot higher by the looks of it as of now, right? And we do have the futures market opening up here in about 20 minutes, so we'll see if we have enough time to wrap back around to see what the futures market is looking like when it comes to the S&P futures, Dow, NASDAQ, and so forth. But as of now, based on Friday's close, we're breaking out for SPY and for QQQ. QQQ actually hit another all-time high at $368.49. We broke above the main resistance that we were struggling at about, what was it? 365. So this could also be a buy the breakout opportunity. Maybe QQQ ends up running up to 370, 375. That, in my opinion, is very, very possible by the looks of the charts here, not only on the 4-hour chart, but also on the hourly chart. So what do you guys think? Are you in alignment with that with me? Do you believe this is breaking out to the point where we could see a higher price in the very short term? Or are we going to end up pulling back and maybe seeing a push back up from there? I'd love to know your thoughts down below in the comments as always. And we have a Fed meeting this week. We have the U.S. Federal Open Market Committee. They're holding their press conference on interest rates and monetary policy. And the markets are watching out for what they're always watching out for: news of future bond purchase tapering, because at this point we understand there's $120 billion being flooded every single month, right? Purchases of these different bonds, and there's just a lot of money being put out there. And the markets, many believe, and I believe this myself, and it's pretty obvious, right? Believe that if these bond purchases get tapered, the markets might take a hit, that being the stock market, right? And if they, prolong the tapering, the markets could run up in the short term even more than what they've already ran up. So we're paying very close attention, me and a bunch of other traders, investors, pretty much everybody out there in the stock market community. We're paying attention to Tuesday and Wednesday, the FOMC meeting. What are they doing with bond tapering? What are they doing with interest rates? All that good stuff. And that's definitely going to be a catalyst for this week. And on top of that, we have arguably, well, it's not even arguable, it is the biggest week of earnings, no doubt about it. We have big tech from Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, Google. We have Spotify, UPS, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Pinterest, Starbucks, just to name a few. And we're going to break down a lot of these stocks today. So this week, needless to say, is going to be a freaking crazy roller coaster. And all of our wealth, especially if you have at least some money in the stock market, our wealth, right? Excuse me, guys. By the way, like I said earlier, I got back from Hawaii and I'm running on 0 hours of sleep. Literally, I've been up for the past 30 hours. I'm kind of waiting till tonight to go to sleep. The jet lag is going to get me, but bear with me. That's kind of why I'm choking on my words. But if you have any money in these big tech names, in the markets in general, your wealth is for sure going to fluctuate heavily this week. And mine is for sure because I own a lot of these big tech names. I own a lot of the stocks that are reporting this week. And of course, the big tech names, they have a huge weighting in the overall market. So we're going to see SPY moving, QQQ moving. So if you own, let's say, an ETF, SPY, QQQ, VOO, whatever you own, that's going to be moving as well. So let's talk about some of these stocks right now that I'm personally looking at. And number one, I didn't mention this one, Tesla, TSLA. Tesla is reporting earnings tomorrow to kick off this crazy earnings season, and they report after hours like they pretty much always do. If they reported pre-market, that would be pretty crazy, but they're reporting after hours tomorrow, and we all know Tesla has been in a funk for the past over 4 months. I mean, look at this chart here, guys. Ever since the beginning of March, Tesla's been between $750 on the high end. Well, actually, that was $790. That was a one-off trading day back in the middle of April. But pretty much from $750 at the higher end to about $550 on the lower end, we've been trading in this $200 window, and we're still in that window. I mean, look, you guys can see the horizontal channel here from March up until now. And you also notice the descending triangle that has been forming, right? We have clear support, like I said, at 550, but we're also making lower highs into that support. Take a look. I mean, we struggled at 900 back in January. Lower high was hit also in April in that one-off trading day, like I mentioned, at about 790. So that was another lower high. Another lower high was hit at about 750. Another one was hit at about 690 recently. Now we're at 640. So in my opinion, looking at these technicals, being a very technical heavy trader, is that even how you say it? You guys know what I mean. I trade heavily based on technicals, at least when it comes to my trading. I also do long-term investing, but that's different, right? Looking at these technicals, we need to break out of 680, 700. I mean, we need to get out of there. And now we're actually trading under the 50 moving average as well here on the 4 hour. And let me tell you guys, if we break under the 180 moving average, which we're holding on by a thread right now, Tesla might start going down to the low 600s again, or at least to test that double bottom at 620 that you guys see right here from earlier in July and mid-July. You can see we hit 620 on the 8th of July, and we hit it again at about on the 19th of July. So if we take the 180 moving average out, we start going to 620, we break 620, there could be a shot down to the higher 500s. Now, listen, I mean, if Tesla crushes earnings like they have been recently, they did 93 cents EPS previous quarter, 80 cents the quarter prior to that. If they do well with earnings, we might easily take 700 out. Well, maybe not 700. Let me not get ahead of myself, but we might take 665, 670 out and start moving up to 700. So for me, I'm going to put an alert right now at $665 per share when it comes to Tesla. Actually, no, let me put it at 660. Let's put it a little bit lower than that. And I'm going to be watching that break above the 50 moving average closely because, again, from there, maybe we get some sort of push up to about $700 per share. So watch out for Tesla, and full disclosure, I don't own any swing shares in this one any longer. You guys know in my Patreon that I timed my sell very, very perfectly, which doesn't always happen. Quite honestly, it happens less times than the than not timing it right. But I sold out at about $6.99. I know it sounds crazy, but I did. All you guys in my Patreon, again, you get my real-time buys and sells, and I own a long-term position in Tesla. That is what I own as of now. But if it gets down to, let's say, 600, maybe back into the fives, I'm probably going to add a swing again in Tesla. We'll see how that goes down. And like I said before, we have big tech this week. We have Apple, AAPL, which, full disclosure, I own a long-term position in Apple. Apple went up 1.2% on Friday. Now we're above the 145 level of resistance from back in January. It looks like we want to shoot for that 150 all-time high. They report earnings on the 27th, so on Tuesday, Apple's reporting. Amazon's another big tech stock I personally own. They report on Tuesday as well. Actually, no, they report on Thursday, guys. So Amazon's on Thursday, and I like how a lot of these names, I think two other big tech names are reporting on Tuesday, but for the most part, a lot of these names are spread out throughout the week, which is good. I wouldn't want all the big tech names reporting on Tuesday, but we have Thursday, or Amazon on Thursday, and if I extend this to the right, you guys can see we closed right under 36.80. That was the high from the end of April, so I think that needs to break. I mean, it has to break for us to shoot to all-time highs again. So I'm going to put an alert right at 36.80 on Amazon. Let's see what it does there tomorrow and the whole week, quite honestly, to see where the stock ends up going, technically speaking. We have Facebook, which went up like crazy. It went up 5% on, what was that, Friday? Yup, we had Snapchat up 24%. So I'm thinking Facebook went up because Snapchat went up. Snapchat crushed earnings, guys. Their daily active user growth was crazy. So if Facebook does anything similar, even though it's run up a lot the past couple of days, there could be some more juice in the Facebook rally. Don't be surprised. I know it's crazy, but I'm going to say it here. Don't be surprised if Facebook goes to 390, 400 after hours if they smash earnings out of the park. But let's say earnings are just, it probably won't go to 400. It might dip down from there, but I'm going to be watching it either way. And Facebook reports, let's take a look here, guys, on the 28th. So they report on Wednesday. Microsoft is reporting, I believe, on Tuesday. Let me double check. Yeah, they report on Tuesday. They hit all-time highs on Friday, up 1.2%. And quite honestly, guys, with a lot of these big tech stocks, I wouldn't be chasing them here. Notice how Facebook's at all-time highs. Microsoft's at all-time highs. The only ones that I'd be looking to make a short-term move on are either Apple, which is $2 off the all-time high. Maybe we get a move past 150, and back to Amazon. If we break 36.80, we could catch a $100 per share move up to about 37.70, which is about 3%, which isn't too shabby. And Google's another one that I love. I own this long-term wise. It's my favorite stock, and it's at all-time highs as well. They report on Tuesday. So we have three big tech names on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and another on Thursday, right? So we're going to be watching those heavily. And let me know in the comments, guys, do you own any of those stocks? I'm assuming you do. And which ones are you most excited about? I'm personally most excited about, I'd say, Google. And I really want to see how those Apple iPhone numbers are looking. And same with Amazon. I'm really excited for Amazon's earnings. And if you guys are enjoying the video thus far, you might as well smash that like button. You might as well subscribe if you haven't done so already. I notice a lot of you guys looking through my analytics, you don't subscribe, but you watch the videos. What are you doing? Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's talk about some other stocks quickly without dragging this video on way too long. Spotify is the one you see right here. This one is down a whopping $140 per share, down 36% from the all-time high at $387 from back in February, and that is just straight up slaughter, guys. Straight up slaughter. Spotify is not doing well, and they report earnings on Wednesday. So I want to see, will this earnings report get them out of the slump that they've been in? I mean, look, the yearly chart, actually the 3-year chart should show it. Clear, very clear as day. We're seeing a head and shoulder. We have the left shoulder here, the head, the right shoulder. We have a clear neckline at about 300, which we're well under the neckline. So I need to see Spotify do well with earnings and get over the 50 moving average and up towards that neckline at 305. The 50 moving average being at about $275 per share. So if we end up seeing that, maybe we catch a move on Spotify from 240, 250 up to about 280, 270. I think that could be very possible within the right shoulder here. But overall, for this to be very bullish, technically speaking, sure, we can make a move within the right shoulder, but this needs to break out of the neckline, which again is at 305. So I'm going to put 2 alerts here. I'm going to put one at 300, or not 300, maybe 250. So I'm going to put 251 there. Let's just leave it at that. And I'm going to set one at about $300 flat. So 2 alerts set here on Spotify. We have Twilio reporting this week as well. TWLO. This one's looking pretty good, technically speaking. They report on the 29th, which I believe is a Thursday. And what we're noticing is a clear break above the moving averages. Twilio's been trading above the moving averages. We're trading above the wedge as well. And now on Friday's green day, up 1%. We closed above 404, which was that resistance from late April, also from the end of June, all throughout July up until this point. So at this point in time, I'm thinking Twilio fills the gap towards 440, maybe 430, 35, right around there, as you guys can see based on the oval tool that I just drew out. So watch out for that move to be made on Twilio. I'm watching that closely. UPS is another one I'm looking at. We're noticing an ascending triangle, kind of, right? It's a little bit sloppy, but overall, that's kind of what I'm grabbing here. Ascending triangle on UPS, clear resistance at 215 to 220. We're uptrending, making higher lows into that resistance. So I'm thinking, look, if this ends up squeezing towards 220, we could catch a move within the ascending triangle here, but ultimately, you guys know what I want to see here. I want to see this breakout of 220. You guessed it, because that'd be the ascending triangle playing out. From there, we might be out of this consolidation zone that we've been in ever since the beginning of May. So almost 3 months at this point. UPS has been choppy, right? So I'm thinking, okay, with earnings coming up on Tuesday, the 27th of July, maybe we get some sort of move there. UPWK Upwork is another one I'm looking at. I have an alert set at 56.50. I really like the sell-off. It was much needed. We dropped about 30% in the span of a couple of days, which is just unbelievable. And we saw a V-shaped recovery now back up to 55, recovering about 15-16% of that 30% loss. And with my alert being at 56.50, that being the high from the end of February and also the closing price from Thursday and Friday, I'm thinking if we break out of there, guys, with earnings coming up here on the 29th, so that's on Thursday, maybe we get some sort of move back up to the low 60s, maybe mid 60s. So watch out for UPWK, and I'm going to use my little oval tool here as well so you guys see what I'm talking about. Well, that's more like a circle, but you get my point. So UPWK, AMD is another one, Advanced Micro Devices. This is one that I personally had last week. I swing traded it. You guys in my Patreon know this, and I sold out before the earnings report. That's one of my principles, right? When I'm trading, I don't really like gambling on earnings. I'm not one of these guys that buys 1,000 shares, 100 shares, and just praise to God that the stock's going to go up after earnings. That's not my style. I like maybe playing the hype into earnings, selling out before earnings, even if it means I miss out on a game, and then I reevaluate after earnings, what's EPS, what's revenue, what's guidance looking like, and then maybe I hop back in again, even if it means I miss out on gains. That's what I personally do. It works for me. And sure, I miss out on money sometimes, but you know what else? You know what else, guys? What's the word here? I mitigate my downside by doing this, because you're gonna get your boot smoked once in a while if you're gambling on earnings, especially if you're playing options. Don't even get me started there. If you're buying short-term puts or short-term calls, expecting a stock to go up or down in a very short amount of time after earnings, you could lose 50, 100% of your money. And how do I know that? Well, because, guys, you know what? I used to do it. Years ago, I used to gamble on earnings, and I made money. But you know what? I lost some money as well. So watch out for AMD. I believe I got in. Where did I get in? I think, let me remember here, guys. It's been a couple of days. I think 80. You guys will see it on my Patreon if you're in there. We made about 2% on the trade. That's all I remember at this point. But just know I hopped in and out, made some money. Now I'm looking to see what happens with earnings. We have Visa coming up. Ticker symbol V. This one up 2% on Friday. They report on the 27th, so they report on Tuesday. And they've been clearly uptrending for months. Up above the moving averages, higher lows, higher highs. Within this uptrending channel, it looks very, very strong. So I want to see if potentially Visa takes out the all-time high that was hit earlier in the middle of July here at 250. Do we take this out? Do we end up running up towards, let's take a look here, maybe towards the higher end of the channel? I'm thinking from 250, maybe up to 255, 260. That's possible. So I'm going to set my alert here on Visa at $250 per share. There we go. And we have MasterCard, which I personally own over Visa. I like the growth more on MasterCard. They report earnings on the 29th. So they report on Thursday. And you guys can see they did very well on Friday, up 3%. They had a great week overall last week. They took out the highs from last week, or that was a week before last week at 339 or 393 rather. We closed right around there. So I'm thinking MasterCard could go up to 400, 405 maybe if they do well with earnings. So I'm going to be watching that on MA here. And PayPal's another one, PYPL. This is one that went up 1.6% today, or not today. Gosh, guys, my mind's elsewhere. It went up 1.5% on Friday, right? And yeah, I have my alert at 309. 309 being that all-time high from in the middle of February. If that level breaks, plus earnings coming up here on the 28th being Wednesday, who knows where PayPal could go, guys. This could easily break out, go 310, 315, maybe 320 on a crazy earnings move. And Pinterest, PINS, is another one that I'm personally looking at here. This one up 6% on Friday. I want to see what the daily active users are going to be looking like on Pinterest. It went up even more after hours on Friday, so this one up a good 7% when we're looking at Friday in general, which is crazy, and we're breaking out of the downwards channel. So for Pinterest, look, we break 78, we start going to 80 again. That's going to be a very good sign for the bulls here with earnings coming up on Thursday. So watch out for these stocks, guys. We went over like 15 up until now. We could go on and on, guys, because listen, this week there's so many other companies. Some honorable mentions I have are Starbucks, SBUX. I'm also long Starbucks. We called this breakout very recently at 115. Now it's at 126. Teladoc's reporting this week. We have Shopify as well, and we can go on and on. We have some, dividend companies. Altria's reporting. We have Pfizer reporting this week, and so many others, guys. So that's it for today. I hope you all enjoyed the video, got some value out of it, and that's what I do every day here on the YouTube channel. We talk stocks, earnings, news, we break down charts, I talk about what I'm doing. So if you guys like that kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment, smash the like button, and if you want to support me a bit further and of course get a lot of exclusive content and you can work more with me on a further one-on-one basis, you get all my alerts and so forth, and a morning update video every day, check out my Patreon. That's linked right down below, or you guys can go to StasSurfFest.com/Patreon. That's StasSurfFest.com/Patreon. And don't forget to also get your free money from M1 Finance. This is seriously $50 guaranteed. It's limited time. Go down below, use my link, deposit $100, and you get $50. I also get $50 to invest with, and we can make literally 50 free bucks right now. It takes 5 minutes. Go do it. Link down below. Same with my Patreon. I'll catch you guys there. Thanks for tuning in again. As always, keep crushing the market. Stay safe out there, guys. Time for me to go get some freaking sleep. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.